I'm Swen Brüseke, a founder and CEO of company ProIO, based in Frankfurt, Germany. And I want to show you a little bit about doing private clouds 100% open source. So, but as far as seen, I talked to some people here. You already are on the same page. So the thing is, why you should do a private cloud with open source only. Why is it a goal in the first place to do? I will try to show you some arguments and a possible way to achieve this goal. But why should you listen to this weird-looking guy here? Because we have some experience in this. We were founded in 2004 and starting virtualization in 2008, and it was just virtualization. It was not cloud orchestration. It was just spinning up hypervisors, spinning up VMs on hypervisor, presenting the instances to customers, no orchestration on top of it. So we were looking for a solution to provide more flexibility to our customers. So we did some evaluation, OpenStack, we found CloudStack. We really, it was a fast way to realize CloudStack is the way to go for reasons like it's simpler to maintain. We found it more easy to explain to customers. Like Brian, you told us in your story, in your talk. Yeah, we tried to spin up a proof of concept in OpenStack and in CloudStack, and we've totally failed in OpenStack, and we got it really fast up and running in CloudStack. So we decided to go with CloudStack. At this time, there was also a payable version called Cloud Platform from Citrix. We also we were using this version, but I do not want to bore you with the whole Citrix story. Google it if you're interested. But they got rid of it, and yeah, we switched to the open source CloudStack version very fast. We also using the CloudStack orchestration for our managed hosting services. So we are providing managed hosting services as a service provider, like customers coming with just an application. They give us the application, say, here, please make it run. And we take care of databases, caches, and then web servers and API endpoints and stuff like that. And all of that is running on CloudStack in our data centers. Open source is just our DNA. So we are a Linux-based company. We have, I think, 99% of all the servers we are running are Linux servers. 1 or 2% Windows servers, but not maintained by us, just maintained by the end customer, because our knowledge is in Linux and not in Windows or Microsoft based. So we really made the decision to focus on open source because we like to give back to communities, to use software which is open source, because we think open source software is the best way to have security, freedom, and control. Why is that? Because you know what's happening under the hood. So there's a way you can say, okay, I can run Azure Stack on my own hardware. That's possible from a technology side of view, but it's a black box for you. You do not know what is inside the software. What is the software doing? Is it sending data to any places you do not want to send data to? So, and in open source, there are security issues, of course. You cannot deny it. It's in the news. Everybody of you, I guess, know there are some of the security issues which you needed to fix quickly because they were already announced, but you know the leaks. I'm not sure if a closed software manufacturer is announcing any leaks, just fixing it and keep it under the radar. And for us, it's very important to be part of the community and to know the software you're using. Now I want to talk a little bit about private cloud itself, because in Europe, private clouds were close to dead some years ago. Nobody was talking about private clouds anymore. It was hyperscalers, hyperscalers, hyperscalers. So you see that before the COVID phase, there was a growth, but it was not really big. Some people are using private clouds, but most of companies, SMBs or small companies are just, of course the big companies just migrated to the hyperscalers, AWS, Google Cloud, Azure. So COVID hit, and we see a little bit more, not a little bit, really more growth in private clouds, because there was some changing in thinking about how to use private clouds, and this is only Europe, I must say. That's a few of your Europe market, not worldwide market, because I think we are special. Europe is a little bit different than the rest of the world, maybe the US, of course. Then I will call it just the Trump administration. If you're okay with that, that's the only politic theme I will talk about. And this way I will just talk about some political stuff, but will not get political sides here, okay? So, but since the Trump administration, we see a lot bigger growth moving from hyperscalers back to private clouds. It's because of tariffs, of course. And there is a possible tariff putting on digital infrastructure or digital services, which can hit hyperscalers based in the US. So it's possible that your AWS bill will get much higher from now to tomorrow. We are not in control of anything. The Privacy Act is, of course, a topic. Is the Privacy Act really safe, or is it just will be terminated in the next days? We have GDPR, which every European-based European company needs to be compliant with. And then we have a big point, which is cost control. So you remember how hyperscalers or public clouds were announced? They are cheap. They're really cheap. You are flexible, cheap again, and no borders. So they are not cheap. Hyperscalers are not cheap. They are expensive. Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is, when you talk to when you are in a project or you're part of a team, and somebody from finance says, yeah, please give me a budget. What do you need? 1 year infrastructure in AWS, give me a budget. You say, it depends on IOPS, and I don't know, this one, what is the backup? I don't know. So you have no budget in hyperscalers. You have any idea how many IOPS your application will do? I don't, and I'm from this business, so I can tell. I cannot tell. So budget is really complicated with hyperscalers. So this is really a point bringing companies, especially based in Germany. This is where I'm familiar with, or German-speaking companies. They're coming and say, okay, I have this budget. I can build a private cloud, and that's it. That's the end of my cost calculation. Maybe I need to put part of the budget to different departments or different projects. But this, and as Brian already told, there's a usage service implemented in CloudStack. It's a little bit tricky, and everybody who's using usage records here. Okay, I was guessing more people, to be honest. But are you with me when I say could be better? It's a little bit complicated, but okay. We are working on this. The technology got better. So in private clouds, you're now able to do stuff you were not able to do before 2018 for a reasonable price. So this was also an advantage of hyperscalers. You just were able to try something new, which is really expensive, like GPUs. You can just buy a GPU compute and a GPU instance and can try something out and delete it. Do not forget to delete it, because then it's still on the bill. That's it. But now it's more affordable. You see that, and also high traffic. Traffic is expensive when you're using hyperscalers. Many companies are underestimated the cost just for the traffic. So when you're using a private cloud, you can do much more. You can do the traffic by yourself, getting your carriers you need, or you can just book some kind of flat rate from your cloud provider if you need it. I already talked about forecasting is the cost. That is one of the key features of the private cloud from the controlling point of view. Also, you know where your data is, and this is also maybe the most important thing. So let's talk about in more detail what freedom, security, and control really mean. The freedom is you can use the hardware you need. You can use the software you need, and you are really independent. So if some of the hyperscalers or VMware decides to change the pricing and it's open source, you are just more flexible, because open source itself, it's not free. Don't get the impression that open source is free. It's maybe you do not need to pay somebody for it, but you need to invest time to build up knowledge. So it's not free, but it's worth it to do that. The security, of course, you can use your own data centers, you can use your own hardware, you can use your storage. You know what kind of storage do you want to use. You can use some hardware for extra data protection. You have in public clouds, you have the noisy neighbors everybody's aware of, I guess. So you are not in control where your instances are running on, which hyperscaler, and which instances from other customers are also running on it. And there are always noisy neighbors, like somebody is just doing, for example, like René, FIO tests all the time and penetrating the storage system. And you're just getting hit by it. And you are not even aware of this other instance running on the same hypervisor. But you also have curious neighbors, like neighbors who are scanning the network, who are trying to use maybe some security breaches to get out of the hypervisor into other virtual machines and stuff like that. So in private clouds, the risk is there, but it's really smaller, because it's in your company. You need to take care of it in your company. Did somebody here try to get out of hyperscalers? What we found out is getting out of your infrastructure out of hyperscalers. It's really hard, because you are bound to the system you are in, and to get out of it can be so expensive. To get the data out of it, the traffic costs a lot. You need to migrate your data out of it. So it's easy to get in. You get free credits, but it's hard to get out. So, and when you're using open source with your private cloud, or even only open source, it's much easier to get out again, because it's open. You can do it by your own if needed. So why using CloudStack? I mentioned there are other solutions for that. But, and I just want to go, Giles already, you stole my numbers. Thank you. But yeah, so the community, as Giles already mentioned, is not the biggest one, but it's a really active one. So when you have a question, I'm sure you're getting an answer within the 24 hours max. That's my experience. Maybe 2 hours, even maybe 10 minutes. So it's really active community. There were over, you see the numbers, 3,300 23 males in the mailing list only in, okay, it should be 24, not 2004. I'm sorry for that. In 2024. We have, you ask about the committers, right, Giles? We have 141 committers right now. I'm proud that I'm one of them. And we have contributors over, I think it's a little bit more than now, 420 contributors on GitHub. So you see the numbers. What's important for us as a company is we have 15 releases, which also included, like Giles told us, security fixes. And you see it's an active community. We're getting security fixes, which is really important. And we will talk about potential security risks openly in the community. For us as a company is really important the VM migration tool, because of course we got a lot of VMware customers which wants to get rid of the license problem, and yeah, this tool helps a lot. So you can also integrate, because there are frameworks. I'm just thinking about not saying the same as Giles, so I need to go to my notes and just to delete some of them. But there are also service integrations. Like now, it's a file system which is, I think, an NFS spinning up on a virtual machine and providing storage, object storage. I want to mention that the CloudStack Collaboration Conference in Milan in November. We have user groups all over the world, as Giles was already explaining. What we do. So yeah, now there are my marketing slides. So I covered it a little bit better than you, not the first ones. So we have customers which are of course unable to do the service by themselves, because I always say, like, when you are a shipping company, you don't build the planes or the trucks. You lease them or you buy them. So, and what we encounter when VMware was bought by Broadcom, many customers came to us and said, okay, we need to change something here. What is your solution? And we heard a little bit about Proxmox. So we have an on-prem VMware and we want to migrate to an on-prem Proxmox. And our answer is always, don't go the halfway, go the full way. Why do you want on-prem? Because on-prem means a lot of SMB customers in Germany means a room in the office, which in best case got air conditioning, but there's a rack, and then you have maybe a 3-node cluster or 10-node cluster, but a considerable small to mid-size cluster. So we say, no, bring it inside a data center and buy or rent the service from a company who is specialized of running private cloud for you. So go the full way, get rid of it, because you do not want to get into your office 2 a.m. in the morning just to swap a hard drive because you got some failures. Let companies doing that for you. Yeah, this is the thing we do. We mainly use LINSTOR as a storage provider, but I want to mention, and it's my honest mention on this, there are so many good storage providers connected to CloudStack. You have also open source Ceph. You have StorePool, of course, which is really a good storage provider, and they all provide plugins for CloudStack. So we are totally free to choose, do benchmarking, test something. We decided to use LINSTOR from LINBIT because it's also open source. And the good thing about open source, I forgot to mention, because the impression is open source, you are just on your own, you're not. You have the community in the first place, but you can buy enterprise support if you want. So it's the same with the Red Hat. You can use open source, but you can buy enterprise support. It's the same with LINBIT. Use the open source LINSTOR. You can buy enterprise support if you want. So we use LINSTOR for most of the clusters, or in all of our CloudStack installations, because in our testing it fulfilled all our checks. I do not want to. You can read the slides if you want. René also did a great talk about LinStore and stuff. So I do not want to bore you. There's also a plugin for Dell PowerFlex if you want to have a manufacturer. Thank you.